no notice of a fool collapsing in your feet. Red footprints walk away, no clue of destruction you lay. Life on the wheels like a team on the rock with the sun to shine through the dark with the wrong hand tag on the track on the need on the breathe on the knees when guilt comes around the ground. Asking away every day I try to stand up to the pain that weighs on my brain to erase all the wasted emotions that get in our way and to stay out of reach of the blade. I'm on the ground, man. I can take no more clean free through my soul and everything else is motion and deep into the up, giving up to the disease of the down. No control of the flow that bleeds from the clean. No control of the flow that bleeds from the clean. Slices from slashing and dicing, chunks of flesh hanging, dangling from my neck and shoulders. Slash like a brain as I lay and I keep on the sleeping away and I pray every day I live the right way and I pray on you. I say no, you go. Blood's on my face, it's half the way, exposing the brain, but feeling no pain from the numbness that can't stay awake no more. Can I take no bone left to break from the clean? I can drink no more clean free through my soul and everything else is motion and deep into the up, giving birth to the disease of the town. No control of the flow that bleeds from the clean. No control of the flow that bleeds from the clean. Bleeds from the clean.
Okay, this is Jimmy Jive, and you're listening to Motor City Rock Talk. Today, my guest is more than a musician, more than an artist. He pretty much covers it all. He plays instruments, obviously guitar, bass, and I think a few other things. But he's also been into acting. He's a performance artist. He's been in way too many bands over the years for me to mention, so I'll just mention a few. One, of course, is Soot. Another one, Mood Madness. But like I said, we'll get into his most recent projects and some of the other things he's done as we go along. He uses a stage name, the Jezter, which I think is fascinating, and he dresses up with a Jester's hat, which I think is awesome. But we'll mention him by his real name, which is Mark Preston. How you doing tonight, Mark?
Oh, good. How's it going out there?
Glad to have you on the show. I really appreciate it. Anyway, let's start out with a little background. Tell me a little bit about where you're from originally, some of your early inspirations or influences as far as music, some of your earliest things that may have gotten you into starting to become a musician or a performer.
Okay. I'm originally from Milan, Michigan, right next to the Milan Dragway. As funny as that is, I'm back out here. Either way, that's where I grew up. I came up with a different kind of musical background. My parents really liked country music. I had brothers and a sister that were kind of into different kinds of rock, disco. I mean, they were like 10 years older than me. So right, I was a little, oops, baby. Maybe. Who knows? Who cares? But anyway, so, I got into all kinds of different kinds of music at an early age. On my own, I somehow fell across Kiss and Ozzy, and that really got me heavy. But as a kid, like when I was 3, my dad used to say, he said, when you were 3, you were top of your lungs in a grocery cart, and you were singing Country Roads by John Denver and Why Me Lord by Chris Christopherson. So
that's good stuff, man.
So like when I was 4, I do kind of vaguely remember this, 4-ish. There was a family, we had a bunch of friends of the family that were in bands. One of the bass players was close and would come by quite a bit, and one time they heard me singing and set me on the hood of my car or whatever it was and said, hey man, would you be able to, do you think you'd come up and sing with us in in the band. I'm like, I was too scared. 4 years old, asking me
Right.
to do something like that. But I didn't really sing in front of people or anything. I wasn't like thing. I did love it since then, though. That's what I used to like to do. I used to like to mimic artists that I like I said, from all kinds of stuff, John Lennon to Queen to Kiss to AC/DC. And I got into Christian rock for quite a few years. I went to church for when I was real young, before even a teenager kind of thing. I was thinking about going to be an evangelist. So that's kind of an interesting story there. But I got heavy into the Christian rock scene music and even lighter Christian music as well. But I think the first concert I went to that had a major, not quote unquote, because it was a Christian name, was a Resurrection band out of Chicago. And then I got into Petra, and Stryper, of course, was popular. But stuff like White Cross.
Good stuff.
And then, like, what pulled me away from the whole Christian scene really was the fact that, first of all, it was kind of closed-minded where I was at. I mean, I was trying to kind of trick my preacher into listening to preach. I'm letting him hear this mellowish Petra song, and it was a Road to Zion. It was a beautiful song. Then I let him hear another one that was like Judas Priest or something, or not Judas Kiss. I'm sorry, another Judas Priest slipping into my head. I like them too. But anyway, Judas Kiss was another one of their songs, a little heavier for them. And he's like, "Oh, that's the devil's music." And I was like, "How is it the devil's music?" Anyway, I'm sitting there trying to reason with these people, and I was really into it. I was into the religion, and I felt great about this music. And I told him, I was like, "Well, shoot, I've learned a lot from this music. Listen to these lyrics. They're singing about things out of your Bible." And I went and I found this verse in the Bible from Psalms, and it talks about how you're supposed to praise God with drums and loud sounding cymbals and dancing. And I took it back and I said, "Well, how do you explain this?"
Who you eyeballing over there, private? You looking at me funny? You trying to fuck me or something? The Beatles broke up the other day.
And I just never went back to church again after that, really. And then at that time, coincidentally, I was into all kinds of stuff. I also took breakdancing lessons at that time. And then I was introduced to Halloween around that time.
Right.
I was 13, 14. And then I was introduced to Metallica at the same time. And those bands and that dancing and everything, it just stuck to me. It felt so much better to move in that direction. That's where I went. Brian Thomas, as you know, and everybody probably listening to this knows, his showmanship is just unlike any others.
Incredible.
The whole band was magic. When I seen him, I couldn't stand it. I had long red hair back then. I'd be in the front row just banging my head the whole time. Next day my neck would be hurting. But that's, those are the people I learned from. And then I started going to all kinds of concerts, of course, after when I got old enough and could do that kind of thing. Because I really wasn't a real musician, I wouldn't say, up until probably getting to that point. Even then, I'm questioning myself about that. I mean, I like to do it, don't get me wrong. We all know how it is starting music. The music scene had changed back and forth. I've seen it just in the short time I've been in it. So started playing with Soot and just for fun. And I think our first or second show even was with Vietnam Prom. And I was with, Heat Miser, Super B.
So that's a little later then.
Yeah, that was like in 97. Like our first official show at a bar. I mean, we played little parties and stuff before that, but at our first thing, like we played at Paychecks in Hamtramck, and then we were doing stuff at the old Miami. And I liked Paychecks a lot. It was a great sounding place. I mean, even in 2005 after that, I remember we played that Motor City Music Conference there. It had great sound back then too. I haven't been there in a while though. I don't know what's going on there or what's happening.
Is Soot still kind of around, or is it morphed into something else? Because like I said, I mentioned
it's funny.
Move Madness, and you've got so many different.
See, Soot went through some transformations through the years. The singer, he's gone now. He passed of cancer probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
So you weren't the singer then?
At that point, I was playing bass. And I was singing some backups.
Right, okay.
And I'll tell you that Soot is still playing, but it's just kind of for fun. Obviously, we're still just doing it for we ain't trying to go anywhere. We're having a good time, and I've learned a lot about the business to where I'm kind of not really interested in getting into that kind of stuff. I do it for fun. It's an energy exchange between the crowd and myself. I love that. That feels great. I know the crowd loves it because they tell me they love it. Feel them when they're talking to me and saying how much they love to see it. It's like magic music. But so the drummers went, Soot had a lot of drummers. Super B was, like I said, he was one of the first, talks a lot. He didn't record an album with us until probably after we got our last drummer, who's been on most of the albums, Scully. Our very first album was this guy, Nick Augustin, and I don't know where he's at now or what he's doing.
You mentioned recording an album. How many albums or recordings did Soot or has Soot done? Because that was the one thing I looked up right away, because that was one of the major bands that Rob had mentioned, and there's nothing on Spotify. Their actual album release is out.
Yeah, we put everything on Reverb Nation. I got it all on there for free. And it's like, I do have it linked from soot420.com. I think you can get there from there. And also soot.us will take you to that page. But that's got all our music that we've pretty much put out. It doesn't have one of them, and that was Pawn Snatcher, and that was like around 1,000-ish. 2000s, but that one was where the transition happened. Jay took off to play semi-pro football, and I was on bass at that point. That was going to be our second album, basically, with me on bass. It was called Pawn Snatcher, and we started it in the studio, and he took off, and it just never got finished.
What studio were you recording these in?
The first studio we recorded was Premier Sound, and that was in Farmington.
Yeah, I know what that is, yeah.
Rick Sherlock, he had done the first one. We recorded the first one off the Nog. I was on bass, we had Jay singing, and that was with Nick Augustin on drums, and BJ Woodside, he's been the guitar player on every album with me, and that's who's still with me too. So anyway, we recorded on 2-inch reel-to-reel, and that was nice. We still mixed it digital.
Do you ever actually release physical copies of any of these albums, or were they just...
All of them, actually. We printed all our CDs and sold them all and gave them away.
I was just wondering, since you had done some of that analog, if you did any of it in the form of vinyl.
Oh, I wish we would have. We didn't. Yeah, I wish we would have. That would have been fun. That would have been very interesting, especially nowadays.
Yeah. You still could. You could put a compilation together, even if it's an EP or something, because people will buy that stuff up, and you'd be surprised.
Too hard, that's what I to this life we exist. It lives in my soul, falls with no trust to resist. Begging for a purpose, most often missed. Begin the submission by invisible fist. Bend over spell run before getting kissed. Who in their right mind would sign up for this? Maybe this man decides on it. I'm born with sick, what I survive. I wish I could. I live to pay to look at my jellies. It's straight, it's the world. Attracting mind, it's the lawless. Brainwashes birth that we have been blessed. Now you two act righteous like a rail. What I will do if we do give it my best. Can't be expected to be such a mess. It's a wicked play just like me in the chest. Along in our city and things us to rest. I welcome the slave because I leave the getting hot in here already. It's like a fever going on. The fever happening up in this biatch. Show them the fever. Let's roll on down the grassy hill into the fire patch. On my back and forth, my blood burns. Hey, your boys can't see your face in front of me. Oh, it's so black. My head is pounding and body's aching and my heart's so cold. God, am I dying? Feels like I'm flying while my breathing. Why feel like I'm leaving? Can't take the heat. This fever's got me burning out of control. Will we walk up? This keeps on laughing in this room. This keeps me standing in the bus. I'm straining to see. I can't see the bull away. It's plain to see darkly. When day is night is day. Oh, why can't I? Why in hell. Wow, it's hot. All right. Time to scratch. Time to give a little scratch.
Thanks to our ladies back here dancing. Her name's Cindy. Cindy. We're gonna take this one out to the chaos women. All the things that I go through to meet you. The yearning is how I wish you could. Bitch, walk in the room, I consume. Daydreams and fantasies to consume. Wind kisses sails in my oceans of passion. As it was bright, I went dark their frustration. Waking again, warrior within. Fight for its queen. Perfume as you walk by. Oh, and it does something strange to my side. All right.
Thank you.
We try.
the drums back here this evening. We got Danny Bradley on the bass guitar. We got DJ Steezo Ezo on the turntables. We got Billy Woodside on the guitar over here. We're Soot from clear out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And sometimes I ask myself,
Oh yeah, that'd be nuts. That'd be crazy.
But the thing about this, I was wondering, because you had more or less implied earlier that, Soot for the longest time, you guys just, you're doing it for fun, this and that.
Yeah. Oh,
So a lot of this, you go into a recording studio like that, and recording that many, that costs money. So you guys paying this all out of pocket? Were you making enough money from some of the shows or performance you were eyeing at the time, or still are, to afford that? How do you pay for all that? It ain't cheap.
Oh, I know. Well, basically, honestly, I worked at Ford at that time, so I was making pretty decent money and wasn't really blowing it on anything. So spent all my money.
So you guys could pretty much fund it yourself as far
Yes.
as that. Were you not married then?
I never really had too many girlfriends or anything either, too much, or any kind of relationships like that. So focused, I was in 5 bands at the same time.
Yeah, I know you were.
I loved it. I mean, being on the stage was like, and it was like a drug. Man, it was a rush.
It's hard to have any kind of relationship when your relationship is music. I understand that.
And then in 2005, I tattooed the treble clef on my wedding ring. So I self-married music, basically, in
awesome.
2005. Ironic as that is, or whatever you want to call it, this Truman Show we live. And they said, that's like the most popular song in Armenia, one of them. I was like, well, that's probably why I like it so much, They said, you can do it? I was like, yeah, I'll bust it out. Zogignir, Antaram Zogignir. And they were like, oh, okay. So we turned it into a proper song. So I sang that at The Voice, and they were like,
Pretty much implying it was a learning experience, obviously,
Oh,
for it, but an eye-opener as to how Hollywood works, as far as at least Hollywood reality TV, because the Osbourne show, the Gene Simmons show, all these different reality shows. Yeah, they're entertaining to a point, but after a while, it's like, seen this, done that, next. Because that's the other thing that I'm sure you're aware of. The attention span of people is just so short. That's why they keep coming up with new. If they wouldn't have been his kids, Jack Osbourne would have never gotten any kind of reality shows because he was into all that paranormal stuff. And Kelly Osbourne, oh my God, is there any talent left in that family?
Hollywood likes to film what they want. Anyway, the other reality shows I was in were similar. I mean, they weren't music-based at all. I mean, I was on Operation Repo. Wasn't my house, wasn't my car.
Oh, yeah, Rob told me about that.
That is on YouTube, by
Is
the
that
way.
the one where you left the chicken or stuff in the trunk or something? Is that the...
Well, the whole thing was they told me the premise, the background for the story, for the setup is that I'm pissed off that they're going to come and take my car.
Of course.
So I put a dummy in the trunk and I chicken rot in the trunk. That's the premise of the story.
Right.
Okay. So when I get there, producer says, okay, this is how it's going to be. It's just a one shoot. We're not cutting. We're not retaking anything. Whatever we get, and we're going to edit it. It's all improv. I'm just like, oh, geez. So I did get to talk with a couple of the actors beforehand. We joked
So it's
around.
all acting, even though it's supposed to be reality. It's acting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. While they're talking to me about this, they're opening up the chicken, and putting it in the trunk of this car with a dummy in it. And there's a note in there that says something like, I don't even remember what the note said. There was some note they wrote and put it in there. And
So that was their idea. You had nothing to do with that.
Oh no, I had no. And
Hilarious.
actually, they made it more interesting. Even at the last moment, they're about to go in the house, and everybody's going to clear the area and start the scene. And as he's going out, he goes, "Oh, and one last thing." And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Don't be afraid to throw that chicken." And I was like, "What?" All right. Well, I was just crazy enough. I don't give a. I'm an entertainer. I don't care. I'll throw. You want me to throw chicken? I don't care. I'm making $300 doing this. I don't care. So yeah, we did the thing, and I ended up throwing chicken at the car and acting stupid. Yeah, I could have acted more stupid, I guess, had I known. Like that was one of my first reality shows because I kind of wanted. I read a lot of acting books before I went out there. I read Sanford Meisner, Strasberg. You know, all
Was
these
that a
great.
requirement for them at all, or just that
No.
helped you? That helped.
No,
you
that just
do it?
yeah, it helped me understand how to act,
Oh,
how to
okay.
live in a situation. Now I did take an acting class, acting for the camera from Purple Rose Theater before I left Michigan.
Oh, wow.
2006.
Jeff Daniels, yeah.
Yeah, I did take an acting class there, all the years on stage, and I kind of was comfortable doing it to a certain degree. But when I got out there, started diving into stuff, I went out for voice acting initially. That was the whole goal. So I
Voice
took
acting,
voice-
are you talking about voiceover
Like-
for commercials?
Yeah,
Or,
I want to be a cartoon.
Cartoons,
like
okay.
that. You know, just get down in there and say something.
that'd be a great gig to get it, though, eh?
Oh yeah, they make a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean,
hell
I
yeah.
spent like 3 years out there doing voice acting classes.
You said you were doing that, but to get out there, wasn't that part of working for Ford Motor Company that you were
Yeah.
out there as far as that? So that allowed you to do it. You didn't just say, hey, I'm going to California and try to become an actor, a voice actor, or whatever. You had that tie-in to help you with that.
Yeah, I kind of got a bug. Well, let me finish that last thought about Hollywood real quick, though. Did that Operation Repo, which is Jester's second television appearance. They still allow that on YouTube for some reason. That's still on there, so you can check that out. But the other show I did, which I haven't seen, some friends of mine did because they called me and talked to me about it, was I was America's Court with Judge Ross. I was getting sued as a tattoo artist. Now, that one was a little more scripted. That one didn't pay as well either. But it was a pretty good, high-quality show when I was trying to be an actor.
Right.
You know, it was on prime time, all that stuff. So I was like, well, cool. Plus, I'm getting sued as a tattoo artist. Shoot, all right. So that was a little bit more coaching. They act, you know, they got a skeleton script. You can go off and improv it here to there, but it's
Sure.
kind of guided, tell you kind of what's going on. And then you get out there and act it out.
Are these usually one take, or do they have to say something like, all right, that didn't work, do it again, that kind of shit?
No, the Operation Repo they did, and that was one take. The Sharon Osbourne show, that was all kind of edited one takes. Had cameras all over the place on that one.
Oh, I see, okay.
The America's Court, like I said, I didn't see how that ended up being edited, but that was, I don't recall them doing any cuts. They may have. Now, I went to Deal or No Deal audience work, and they cut. Somebody opened the case and they'd seen the numbers and they said, oh, hold on, cut. Can you give us a better reaction? Do that again, give us a better reaction this time. I was just like, what? That was the first thing that threw me at the game show. And I was like, oh my God, they know what's in the damn case before they open it.
Of
Get
course.
out of here.
Let's make a
Right.
deal, yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, no.
It's amazing
Like
more people don't come out about that kind of thing, you know, how they've been able to keep kind of a lid on it. Although, like I said earlier,
It's a club.
Yeah, the average person, even average intelligence, has got to know these reality shows are fake, Jersey Shore, all this crap. Not that these people don't exist or these type
How
of
it-
behaviors,
yeah.
but how it's
Yes.
played out and edited, it's nuts. They really lock you in, like you said, the entertainment thing. And there again, it's about money. It's about advertising dollars. The more they can entertain you and suck you in, and even the stupidest thing, the more they're going to make as far as advertising dollar, or potentially. So it's all
Right.
business. I understand that.
Oh yeah, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
It's just a different kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
That's all. That's fine. I got it, but I just didn't want to do a lot of the manipulating things.
Yeah.
That I just was like, you know, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be living a lie my whole life.
Do you lean more now? I mean, you're obviously staying here at least for the time, and you're performing with done some of the other things. Are you leaning more towards the musical side of you? I mean, you obviously do the Jester thing as part of that, but are you pretty much As far as that, then saying you're pretty much done with acting or potentially acting as far as that, or you're just going to incorporate in your musical show?
Now, the only thing I wouldn't mind, I haven't done yet, is I wouldn't mind acting in a musical, even if it's just something local. But, that's the one thing I really didn't get to do. I did do some plays out in Hollywood. I did probably a good handful of plays, and we were going to do Rocky Horror. I was going to be Riff Raff, and it was great. People were loving it because, obviously I got the shaved head, so it was easy. They loved it, and then they couldn't get the rights to do it in the theater. It was a small theater called Hollywood Fight Club. They couldn't do it because they didn't have the money to buy the rights.
Right, that's
man.
tough.
I was like, oh man, but whatever. But I did a lot of plays there, and I liked doing that. I didn't think I could do some of those things, like memorize so many things. I was amazed. One of the plays I opened up the whole play with a 20-minute monologue, and it was just wild. And I had to get into a briefcase and pull out these weapons and all this stuff and talk about history stuff. And it was kind of crazy. I was supposed to be a nut job that was about to take off, melt down a nuclear reactor.
When you do something like that in a play like that where you're doing a monologue type of thing, do you have to strictly learn the script, or is there any room for improv as far as any of that?
Sometimes the directors can, if you do something cool, improv-like, and they like it, they might make the change, but for the most part, they want you to be right on. Because the thing about that, it's kind of cool, is it's almost like being in a band with all the other actors, because they all work off of you. So if you change the wrong word in your line, it might throw the other actor off.
What's coming up, or what are you doing as far as locally music or plans for that? Are you planning on recording any more with Soot, or you got any recording projects with any of your other groups you're playing with? What's in the future?
Well, doing all these bands, writing all these songs, I've probably got, these 400 or 500 songs online with all these different bands that I've written these lyrics for. One in particular, Circle the Crown stuff, that actually was a kind of an eye-opener, because I was basically led to see for the first time from the bass player in that band that he said, and you manifested your wife here, because I am married now. He suggested all this, and think about that, and I'm like, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, I guess maybe I could have done that. And then, getting into this whole thing, I won't get into it, but the whole Alchemy cathedrals and what they could have been used for other than what you think they do. I was thinking, man, wouldn't it be cool if music, magic, what if we're all just magi wielding magic? The frequencies we create with the music is some of the power, but the words and the intention are the other. And perhaps, maybe, who knows, perhaps we're creating this reality through a lot of the music we're writing and listening to and singing along with in our lives. So my next goal would probably be, and like I had told a couple people I've mentioned to get bands started with before Soot got back together and started jamming again, and I talked to these guys about it too, and I said, well, I would like to, going forward, first of all, I would like to investigate playing in 432 hertz. I don't know if you're familiar with the 440 versus 432 hertz, but that's an interesting theory to look into. 432 hertz is supposed to be more of a healing frequency than 440. I'll say that much about it. So I was thinking it'd be cool. There are artists out there that I really enjoy listening to right now across the world that are using 432 specifically only, and some others are using some other frequencies. But I wanted to try out 432 hertz, and I also wanted to write some songs that are more positive, constructive, maybe, toward a better future.
Well, are you saying your stuff in the past hasn't been? It's been negative?
Well, not that it's necessarily negative, but it might focus a little bit on what the problem is instead of what a solution might be.
I get you.
Like, in a lot of music does that, like Rage Against the Machine, all these bands. I love those bands. I wouldn't know if I did listen to them deeply, but it's just like, I would just want to try it. It's like, what if a group of musicians, whoever they may be, anybody that wants to listen and do this and try this theory, if you start, singing like how you want to see the world, like make it how you want it, not what it is or what it seems to be at this point.
Don't you think John Lennon was trying to do that back in the 60s?
Yeah, and it's close to that. It is kind of close to that.
The one thing I guess we didn't get into too much, and I kind of have already got an idea of where this came from. As for the idea of the character, the Jester, and wearing that Jester hat, the whole thing. What inspired you to? I mean, because you could have been anything else. You could have been like ICP. You could have painted your face up and been a clown. Or in this case, why a Jester? Was there any significance to that?
Yeah, that's actually funny because when I went to college, I also joined a fraternity there. They knew I break danced, and I used to wear these MC Hammer pants that were purple and black, and they were like MC Hammer pants, those ones that hang in the middle.
Oh, right, okay.
Those
Cheaty
big ones,
pants, yeah.
Yep, that's the ones. And I used to have a pair of black and purple ones, and I had a black cardigan and a purple turtleneck I'd wear, and I'd be purple and black wearing that stuff. Break dancing. I had those. So they started calling me Joker. And at that same time, Batman came out with Prince, right? And I was a huge Prince fan. They started calling me Joker. I said, well, Joker's taken over and over. I said, how about Jester then? If you're going to call me something, just call me Jester instead of that then, So, and It just kind of stuck that way.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they put me in the Greek Week talent show, breakdancing, because none of them wanted to do the talent show. They were more athletic. They were more,
I get you, Jack.
that kind of stuff. They didn't want to do the stage thing, so they'd set me up there. So I did breakdancing one year, and I ended up being in that thing for 3 years as Jester. And then in that process, that's when my friend had asked me to join that folk band too and all that kind of stuff. And Soot was getting started up. And after that, the guys in Soot got me, BJ and Jay, got me my first hat. And it was just some felt 3 ballad Jester hat. Then it just stuck. Then I just became Jester. That's how it really happened.
As far as some of these other bands that I'd mentioned, like Moon Madness, you did say that the Soot stuff is on like Reverb Nation. Are any of these other bands you record with them at all? Is there music out there also? And is it very much, let's say, diverse or different from Soot style stuff?
Oh yeah, it's very different. Soot's very unique. All of it's on Reverb Nation, all the bands.
People can go through your like Facebook page or whatever to take them over to that.
Yeah, actually on my Facebook I have a pinned post with all my music links on there.
Cool.
And it's got all the bands like Social Fever, like a AC/DC sounding band. It's a Circle the Crown. But actually Circle the Crown we didn't get, but yeah, we don't have the Circle the Crown up online yet. I didn't get to do that. That was just a long story about it. But anyway, I do want to get that up eventually. But we have Social Fever up there, the Big B and the Magic Bullets, the Blues Band, and Moon Madness is up there.
Well, anyway, Mark, I'm going to let you go. I've learned a hell of a lot from you today. It's been great talking to you, real interesting. And I hope you keep in touch. And I wish you and Soot and any of your other projects success. I hope you continue on and come up with new ideas, and which I know you will, because I can tell you have a true passion for what you do. And continue. Keep doing it.
Thank you.
Don't stop, man. Don't let old age and arthritis like I have keep you down. Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much,
brother.
too.
You have a good night, man. I'll talk to you.
All right. You too. Thanks.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
More than
Well, that was Mark Preston, aka the Jester, who's, like I said, his career is, in the last 30 years, it's just beyond anything I can imagine ever having done. His big band Soot, it's still together and reformed and playing, but he was also in Moon Madness, Circle the Crown, and many others. He's done reality TV, he's on The Voice, he's done this, he's done that, and he's a character. I love people that can create an alter ego on the stage, similar like Alice Cooper did and the members of Kiss, just to make it visually more entertaining, because music at the end of the day, should be informative, but it should really be visual to take you away from your problems for a while, so you don't have to dwell on the world. It's something just to make you happy, like you said, spread a little joy and positivity as far as the world goes. And that to me is totally awesome. Speaking of stereo equipment, old stereo equipment, new stereo equipment, if you have anything as far as receivers, turntables, tape decks, or anything that they're just sitting around and not working, but you'd really like to get them working in because, maybe you might be into vinyl now or whatever, you just want to get back into music, the stuff you love, outside of just listening with headphones on a cell phone, you need to check out my friends at 7 Grand Audio Service. They've been in business for over 40 years, located at 25642 7 Mile Road in South Redford. The owner, Dash, and his assistant, Harry, can fix just about anything. Like I said, receivers, tape decks, turntables, EQs, power amps, and yes, guitar and bass amp. The phone number is 313-533-3635. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Check them out and tell them Jimmy sent you. Well, anyway, with that said, like I like to say, keep rocking.